Howdy folks, welcome back to World of Tanks with the mighty Jingles. Some of you may recall, it was quite a while ago actually, I did a sort of mini review of the ELC AMX, French Tier 5 light tank, with the turret that isn't really a turret. And while I certainly enjoyed it, I wasn't very good at driving it. And I didn't really play the ELC much. But as you know, I live stream on Circumflex's live stream on Monday nights, Quickie Baby's live stream on Thursday night, and Circon loves his ELC, so he's persuaded me to have a few games in it. This was the very first game that I played on Circumflex's live stream in the ELC, and I have been learning the ways of the ELC from the bearded master. So you're going to see me still trying to use the thing like an actual tank, which is just wrong. We're here on Airfield. I think this was actually from patch 8.4. Hence the slightly outdated looking graphics. And this is what I mean. There's a T1 Heavy over there, and I'm going to use the ELC. I'm going to try to use it like a tank. And it's going to work because this T1 Heavy has no idea I'm coming. So, yeah, okay, nothing wrong with that. But Circon, drive-by style. That's the way you should be doing it. Zoom past, unload at point-blank range, and don't stop. And now he's coming around again. Between the two of us, we're keeping this guy occupied. Of course, he's got a little friend behind him as well. There we go. Oh, Churchill 3. Okay, T1 Heavy's looking my way, so Circon... In fact, they're both looking my way, so Circon can pop out. Plonk a shot into one of them, and there's a T-34 as well. Horrible, horrible, horrible aiming time on this big old gun. Blowing the tracks off the T-34. And see, the Panzer 1C getting stuck into the action here as well. The T1 Heavy's about doomed. Let's see if we can just... There we go. Took the tracks off the Churchill, allowing Circon to get clear. And there goes the T1 Heavy on his way out. See, he's doing it right. I'm still trying to play the ELC like an actual tank. Again, doing it wrong. This thing is so fast. Instead of reversing and coming around, what I should have been trying to do, that's more like it. There you go. Take your shot on the move when you're so close you can't possibly miss, and just keep going. T-34 and a Churchill desperately trying to catch me. That's more like it. Jingles, you're getting the hang of it now. And you know what? When you just sort of surrender to the way of the ELC, it's so much fun. You know, when you start doing it properly and forget that you're actually driving a tank, because you're not. You're driving a go-kart with a big gun. Oh, missed him. Oh, that's far too much company. I'm getting the hell out of here. Oh, no, I'm not. Killed by the Stoga. But, yeah, we weren't particularly effective. Well, we weren't particularly ineffective either. And more importantly, it's fun. This little tank is awesome. So we started playing... I mean, Circon's been playing the ELC forever. But the two of us started playing more often on his live stream, and this little tank is great. So this was still patch 8.4 and still very, very early in my ELC education. In fact, I think this was only the second live stream game that I played in this little thing. So we're here on Wide Park, and I still haven't gotten my head into the ELC tank driver's space, because I see a map like this and I just see lots and lots of opportunities for getting myself killed. Lots of tight, narrow city streets with no room to manoeuvre. Circumflexes, he just sees opportunities for drive-by killings. He loves driving light tanks on little, on maps like this. And And it's true. I just haven't gotten my head into the ELC driver's headspace yet. But I'm learning. And Circumflex is just charging off up the flank, leading the... I mean, look at them on the map there. Leading the charge right the way up the eastern flank. Whole bunch of heavies coming in, and he's going to try to take on a Super Pershing single-handed. Meanwhile, there it is, yeah. He actually does some good damage to this guy, but... And in fact, actually, he kills the Super Pershing. Spoiler. But he doesn't get away with it. So I'm trying to give him a bit of covering fire here, but I don't have a shot on anything. And then I spot an IS-3 up there, and I don't have the gun depression for it, and still trying to play this thing like an actual tank. Getting it wrong. So while Circon and that Super Pershing are busy nomming each other to death, I suddenly realised I can actually shoot. If I'm prepared to take a chance, due to this thing's garbage gun depression, I can pop up, put one into this T-34, and then pop back down again before anybody notices. Because all of these guys know I'm here, but they're all focused on what's going on over on the other flank. Which, you know, you can understand because they're about to lose that flank. So the guys here in the middle are doing their best to try to support that Pershing, who doesn't have long to live. You can see their artillery's making a run for it. And I'm trying to get another shot under the rails into this Carnarvon, but it's just not going to happen. So, looking at the map, well, I have to go over to the western flank, not the western, sorry, I have to go over to the eastern flank and exploit this breakthrough that our two T-30s and backup heavies have created. That IS is dead meat, so I'm going to slip through on this flank. Once I learn how to steer this thing properly, stop crashing into everything. And I'm not joking about that, by the way. This tank is so light and so small and so low to the ground. You have to avoid obstacles when you're driving with it, because they'll slow you down, and speed is life in this little thing. Well, we've pretty much got this game in the bag. We're not winning. I mean, we're only 5 kills to 2, but it's not about the kills. It's about the positioning and the control of the map. And we forced the enemy team all into one quarter. So let's go looking for victims. There's another T-34. Can I nom on the T-34? Actually, no. Let's let him shoot somebody else first and then pop out and nom on the T-34. And that was a bounce. God damn you, T-34. You'll pay for that. Come on, 110, finish him off. There we go, okay. 452A around the corner. Meep, meep. Oh, crap. Carnarvon and an E75. And the 4502A takes my tracks off, but our artillery nails the 4502A. And Carnarvon's taking pot shots at me. Need to get out of here. Carnarvon's fired. Don't know what gun he's got. He's got a 20 pounder. He could be firing again pretty quickly, but I managed to get away. Sneaky one into that E75. Take his tracks off. Keep him in place. Zip up here. See if I can get the final killing blow on that T-54E1, but I can't, so turn around. Let's go back and finish off the E75. And he's probably waiting for the first tank to come around the corner. Alright, let the T-32 finish him. Except the T-32 doesn't finish him. Okay, I'll ninja that kill. Thank you. Who's next? There's a Carnarvon around the corner over there, and that E-75 is about to die, as is their artillery, so let's swoop in and ninja this kill. Booyah. So I'm starting to get the hang of it. Of course, while you're throwing this thing around the map like you just don't care, you do need to remember that you are actually driving a very, very light and very, very fragile light tank. Yeah. Oops. Yeah, you'll do that a lot when you're driving one of these little things. But, you know, it does have its compensations. And the thing about the ELC is that it just doesn't really drive like any other light tank. I mean, there are other tanks that have the manoeuvrability and the speed and the agility of this little bugger. The old T50-2, for example, the MT-25 as well. But they don't fight the same way this thing does. Watch this. Whoa, nearly flipped it. Yeah, this thing is a drive-by killer. You can't circle somebody because it doesn't have a proper turret. So, you know, normal light tank tactics are just out the window with this thing. I suppose it's more similar in fighting style to a T50-2. Not a T50-2, sorry, to a VK2801, which has the howitzer. But the VK2801 doesn't drive like this thing. It's a much heavier light tank. It's actually quite an effective artillery ramming machine. Yeah, watch this. Oh no, KV-1S is going to fire at the Hellcat. Don't worry, Hellcat, I'll save you. Yeah, I totally intended to do that. Yeah. Do you think they fell for it? Yes, I think you got away with that one, Jingles. So, while I'm still far from being an expert at driving this tiny little French Terror, I've had a hell of a time getting to learn it and getting to grips with the way the tank works. And of course I use the word tank in the broadest possible sense of the word. This is not a tank. This is a go-kart with a 90mm gun strapped to the front. But that doesn't mean it's bad. It's so much fun to drive. You really do just have to surrender yourself to the way of the ELC. And I probably haven't quite actually done that yet. Certainly not to the same extent that... You tend to find ELC drivers fall into two categories. You've either got those ELC drivers who've come to the ELC from other light tanks, or people like me, who I'm not really a natural light tank driver, although I do enjoy driving light tanks. But I'm a lot more cautious. I haven't got that not giving a single shit attitude that you find with dedicated light tank drivers. So you'll see me being much more cautious than the average ELC driver, who tends to play a sort of live fast, die young, leave a good-looking corpse sort of style of gameplay. You'll see circumflexes doing that. I don't. And I'm probably missing out. But it's, you know, it's an equally viable way of playing this little thing. But you owe it to yourself. I think when you're driving an ELC, you have a responsibility to yourself to always have one eye on the map. Play cautiously at the start, if you must, but always have one eye on the map and waiting for that opportunity to strike. And while you're waiting, this 90mm gun, yeah, I mean, you know, you're in a tiny little machine with a gun that doesn't actually have a turret and doesn't actually rotate. So why not play it like a tank destroyer? It's a 90mm gun. It seems to be able to do the job. These guys have no idea I'm here. Oh wait, the T-50 coming. They might now. We need to put an end to this guy's shenanigans. Let's put one into him. That'll do. Oh, took a hit. Took a hit from a KV-1S. In a tank with like 13mm of armour. And only took 165 damage. So I think it's probably fairly safe to say he's not using the 122mm gun. Speaking of KV-1Ss, Hector here from Wargaming and his Cromwell is in deep trouble. We are literally the only ones here. There's a KV-1S coming along the river, but he's never going to make it here in time. We just lost Hector. I put one into him. Back off. Circumflexes. Your turn. He stops. He aims. He fires. He misses. So I'll take the kill. Definitely worth sacrificing a wargaming employee for. So there's my first kill. And that's 1,000 damage done already before I actually scored a kill in the game. And we've pretty much... I mean, the enemy team barely came down off this ridgeline. But it wasn't because they were camping the ridge. It was because everybody who came off the ridge, we killed. And then, keeping an eye on the map, back in my sniping position. There's that KV-1S who put a shot into me earlier. There's my second kill. And there's still some big juicy targets up there. Put one into the M3. The sooner this poor bugger is put out of his misery, the more grateful he will be, I'm sure. There we go. Crusader finishes him. There goes another Lee. And this enemy, we just dominated this enemy team. Wouldn't let them get down off that ridge. Circumflexes is going for it. He's scented blood in the water. He wants to get up there and get some kills in before the before we run out of enemies to shoot at. And again, I'm still playing it a bit more cautiously than I probably should. He's going after that T50 before the KV-2 derps him to death. Another KV-1S up there. We know there's an Su-85 up in the village near the enemy team starting position. And I'm not going to get any more kills sitting here. It's time for me to go for it. Oh, perhaps a sneaky last shot at this jumbo. He's on 627 health. He disappears just as I fire. I don't know if I hit him. But now he's on 423 health, so yeah, it looks like I did actually hit him. XVM's reporting 1,400 damage done. That's actually closer to 1,600. And now it's time to go. Going to slip around the rear, see if I can nail me that Su-85. Need to watch out for that KV-1S though. He's up ahead of me somewhere. Looking around, scanning. KV-1S. Nope, he's on too much health. He has plenty of other problems. I'm going after the Su-85. Oh, KV-1S isn't finished with me though. Luckily he missed. But you know, that's just how fast this thing is, and such a small target. And that Russian 122mm gun, it's not the most accurate gun in the world. Keep this thing moving. Su-85 trying to... Couldn't quite blow his tracks off. So, let's get out of here while we reload. The KV-1S is dead. The Stug and the T-50 are living on borrowed time. The enemy Hetter's got KV-2 problems, and I'm just going to wait for this guy. Trying to fake him into firing. Come on, take a shot, take a shot, take a shot. There he goes, he's fired. Don't screw this up. Plenty of time. Game over. Over 2,000 damage. 4 kills. I think it's fairly safe to say I'm starting to get the hang of this little thing. Even if I'm not quite as batshit crazy the way a lot of ELC drivers are. And you know what? That works for them. But those are probably guys that have come from driving light tanks for a living. I haven't. I'm more of a medium tank destroyer, heavy tank kind of guy. And I think my ELC driving style reflects that. But it's still a lot of fun. I've had an amazing time driving this little thing. Even the games that I've crashed and burned in have been hilarious, because it's just a white knuckle adrenaline ride all the way when you're driving something as small, fragile, vulnerable, and yet at the same time dangerous as the ELC AMX. It's a great little tank. Hope you enjoyed the replays, folks. As always, take care on that battlefield, and I'll catch you next time.